All right, everybody, we are live. Hopefully, we get a few more of you streaming in. I was going to call this show a roundtable, but it's kind of like a square, so we're going to go with it. We are joined here today with Incognito, who's normally in the chat. That's my husband, Michael. We've got Jer and Niish, and we'll probably start off talking about Trump, but I have no idea where this show is going to go. But before we go somewhere with it, remember, as soon as you see us, give a thumbs up, subscribe, share. It helps the algorithm. And always visit the website, theclusterfuck.com, and all the links are there. And for Sunday people, we're still going to have a Sunday show because we normally do. But I will probably do a Sunday show. I might talk about Isaac Cappy and other things and then transfer it into a members kind of thing to get something out for the members. So still be here Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern because I will be here. All right. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent. Excited to be here.
I haven't had you guys on for a long time.
I know you were the last
Been-
show.
Been like 6 months.
It has, well, it changed, working, crazy chaos. Who knows why?
And Jer and I did the New Year's show too.
Did we?
That's right. You guys
Yep.
did.
That's almost 6 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah, that I think that might have been it. We got Dorothy, John aside, Kirby in the room. Welcome everybody. Remember those thumbs. Click them. And then same with we are streaming over at Jer Niish's channel. So you guys click the thumbs up over there. How do you guys I'll start with Niish. How are you feeling about 2026?
Well, first of all, I can't believe we're nearly halfway through. We're moving into June here soon. So amazing. And I think it hasn't let down. I think it's been everything most of us looking at all this stuff thought it would be, following the trends and the deep blue and the high strange of it, monitoring everything. It's continuing on. I do think that looking at the sidereal astrology, that June and July are going to be the bigger break of the year, and then after that, I think it's going to get crazy. The last quarter of the year for sure.
So are you saying I should like head for the hills?
Well, I mean, why aren't you in the hills now?
Well, that's the plan. That's the
Wish we
plan,
could
but
be.
it's called money. We gotta sell
Yes.
this house and get out. I want to get the heck out of Utah. I'll tell you that.
Oh my
Crazy,
God.
crazy stuff here.
I
Yep.
am so sad to hear this about Utah. My God. I did not expect some of the stuff going down to be going
I'm not
down.
the minute when I first moved here from Canada, because I could feel the difference because I haven't lived here all my life. I'm kind of surprised, but I'm not surprised in a way. In a way, I'm not. But hey, I mean, Mike, I'll let Mike speak to it. He's lived here for a lot longer than I have. How do you feel about Utah in 2026?
I'm done with Utah. It's insane. I never thought I would ever say that I'm done with Utah, but I'm done with Utah. We need to get the hell out of here. The governor's corrupt. I don't know what the hell is going on with, all the Charlie Kirk assassination stuff, but something's going on. And it's just craziness.
Yeah.
Time to
Well,
go off
we're
the grid somewhere.
supposed to get a big giant data center. Yay, and nobody's happy about that.
Well, that's another thing is, that's like, that's happened at least 2 times in my life where, they put something to a vote and the people voted it down and they've said, well, fuck you guys, we're doing it anyway. And they did. And
Yeah, the footage of that is crazy. I mean, how many counties of people showed up and expressed their interest in not having it? And those 3 effers just went ahead into another room and voted it in. And then there's the size of it. I cannot imagine the size of it. And then there's the water consumption. I mean, it's
Right.
just ridiculous.
Have enough
Well,
water here.
I don't think they're going to be successful, but and I think they're failing all over the country. But I mean, that you got to ask yourself, okay, why did Trump make it part of his big beautiful bill or whatever, or maybe the Stargate thing? I don't know, but it was like he said, states didn't have the right to say no. And it's like, well, no, hey, wait a minute, what the hell is going on there? That's bullshit. It's
That
like
was specifically about AI regulation, not necessarily data centers.
Well, which is the point of these data centers, which is a big problem.
It's not the
Yeah,
only point.
regulation is
It's
a
not
big
the only
problem.
point of data centers. They just house computers.
not these ones. I
Yeah,
used to
these
work in a
ones.
data center.
Sure,
and
there's switches and routers and stuff too. I understand that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
they're at
Well,
its
no,
core.
this is about police surveillance system, a mass control system. There's no way we need this many data centers. Not even China has this many
But-
data centers that they're planning on building.
All right,
We
I'm
just
going to be
don't need them.
I'm going to be the naysayer here.
I know you are.
AWS can provide all that today. They don't need to build new data centers to house surveillance stuff.
Well, yeah, but so then why are they doing it? They don't need it. They're bad for the environment. They're bad for they're just horrible. They're charging us to pay for it, the infrastructure. It's like, okay, why?
The Stratos project is privately funded. How are they charging you?
No, it's
They're-
taxpayers.
You know
dollars.
what? My
We've seen
our
that on
electric
Tucker.
our electric bill doubled in the last year.
But that's not from
That's
data
how they're
centers.
doing it. Oh,
It's part
that's
of
how
it.
they do it. That's how they're doing it.
Okay.
They're raising our actual taxes and our actual stuff and making it look like, hey, there's nothing here.
Mr. Wonderful and Larry Fink said that that's what's going to happen, is that people's pensions are going to go to fund data centers. And it's like, well, so China has 500 data centers. We already have, like, I don't know, at least
Thousands.
3 times. Yeah, we have, like, I think the proposal is 3,000, or we have 3,000 already. So it's like there's no AI race, like,
4,300.
okay, so there's no AI, there's no race against China. That's another thing that they keep saying. Oh, well, we got to beat China. Well,
They got to
no, we
beat
don't.
China. They got to beat China at AI. We don't want China winning the AI is the new space war. It's the new Cold War.
Yeah, I know that, but
Well, I know. Well, that's what they're when they say don't want China to beat us. They don't want it to beat us in AI.
Well,
we
the
already
Cold War
beat
was a
them.
big mirage, anyways.
I think it's more of a tug of war. We go back and forth. They'll come out with a new model that's better. Then we come out with a new model.
So,
that's better.
Jer, I don't want to like pick on you or beat up on you, but obviously
Go
you
for
think,
it. Pick
you
on me.
think it's a good thing. I want to be fair to your point of view. You think it's a good thing.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think a lot of the things that people believe about data centers is not true. Like this thing about them taking water. The Stratos project in particular is going to be completely self-contained. Once it gets filled with water, they won't need any more other than, plumbing. And it's going to capture rainwater. It's going to have moisture collecting. It's going to generate its own electricity. Yes, it will raise the temperature.
Rainwater in Utah?
They have the moisture collectors in the desert now that collect water.
Yeah, but
moisture
it's a desert.
farming, like on Tatooine.
Like on
We're gonna be
Tatooine,
like
exactly.
Luke Skywalker.
I'm just saying it's a self-contained and closed project.
I just
built-
don't trust what these guys say, especially considering a certain country and Mossad that they're working with all the time.
I don't know about that, but I'm just saying. Data centers, for the most part, in the U.S. have closed-loop systems, even though some people say that's not true, but it is true.
And what do you mean? What does it mean by a closed loop?
So
system?
when the computers get hot, they use a water cooling system.
Okay.
So
Kind of like a nuclear power plant. They have a cooling system in them, don't they?
Yeah, but that's to create steam. That's different.
Okay.
This is basically a giant hose, right? That's closed. They fill it with water, and it circulates around and cools, and it goes to one place and it gets cooled down. So make believe it's connected to an air conditioner. It cools the water down. It goes back into the loop. That's how it works. They don't add any chemicals to it. They may add some like anti-algae kind of stuff in it, chlorine, those kind of things that you'd find in drinking water to keep it, not nasty.
Right.
But the water never leaves that hose. It doesn't get dumped into like the sewer or into the ground. Now, some data centers may do that. I don't know, but majority of data centers today are closed loop systems. They have cooling systems that the water never leaves. And yeah, the only bad thing about them, the one bad thing that I don't like is how much heat they generate. And if they're far enough away from people, then it's fine.
This one in Utah is not going to be far enough away from people. I'll tell you that.
It's like 65 miles, I thought. No, 6 miles. 6 miles. But it's a small town that's close.
That's.
I doubt
It's like basically from Portland to Seattle. I've looked at the schematics on it. It's way bigger than 6 miles. And
no. The 6 miles from the closest civilized part of Utah is what I said.
Which is not very far.
Right, but water's in the cooler roads.
You'd be able to see it from our house, basically.
So it's a big. What if it was a Costco warehouse? I mean,
so okay, let's just.
I'm pretty sure Costco warehouse isn't going to be as big and generating as much environmental problems.
What environmental problems are you talking about?
Well, first of all, why do we need more, first of all? And this is on top of the proposal to make small data centers. There's a company out there that's proposing having small data centers outside of people's houses to help with this whole data situation. So why do we need monster data centers more than we have already, Jerry?
Because they're trying to plan for future capacity.
You have to understand. There's a couple of issues. I want to answer your question. You said what problems? Gas emission, excessive water
There's no gas emission from
extreme heat effects, localized air and noise pollution, driving people insane. Those are just 4.
Noise. They're just computers running.
Oh, that is not true. There are some that make a heck of a lot of noise.
Diesel generators, when they run, will make noise, but they don't run all the time.
The heat issue is also, they've done studies about the wind turbines and stuff, and they found that those are affecting like the jet streams and the winds patterns around the country and maybe the world. And I mean, you look at Wyoming, and they've had. I mean, I've been driving truck for 5 years now, and this year they've had hurricane force winds, and it's always been windy in Wyoming, but it's like there's something crazy going on. The weather is changing, and part of it is the wind turbines, and when you add the heat to that's probably going to make some other changes that they're not anticipating.
It's possible. Mm-hmm. I am concerned about the heat. That is definitely a concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the heat, especially in the desert.
There's no, as far as I know, there's no gas emissions from a data center.
There's got to be some kind of electronic emissions that's going to scramble our brains. I know it.
That's the problem, Jer, is that you can't trust these people. You
can't trust anybody.
Well, that's true.
That's
but
our motto.
What about the 4,300 existing data centers?
Well, we can't do anything about that right now.
But I'm saying, if these are so dangerous, why haven't the effects been noted?
Well, there might be effects. Yeah,
they have been in Memphis. Elon Musk's data center is putting off a shit ton of pollution, and then there's that one that Amazon just had a settlement where they are paying money because they contaminated the groundwater or some shit like that. So that's 2, and they're supposedly the good old closed loop. I don't know if they're the closed loop ones or not, but I'm guessing
the older ones are not. The older ones are not.
Well, the one I worked at wasn't, as far as I know. I mean, it wasn't that bad, really. I mean, I'll agree with you on that. That it wasn't that bad. I'm not concerned about that. except for it was Oracle. But
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I
Me-
think
Time will tell.
there are bigger fish to fry in the world other than a room full
Well,
of
I think
computers.
I honestly see this in a very bigger picture, and I think it's part of the big fish to fry.
I agree
But
with you, Melissa, on that.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
It's in the mix of what is unfolding. It's not, I don't think it's wise to look at this as a separate situation going down. This is part of a bigger play that is going on. There's underwriting. If you're looking at the underwriting, I don't think anyone does that anymore, that suggests it. And this is of interest to people that follow Deep Blue and High Strange like me. And there's a lot of points to be made. I'm not going to go into all that right here, but I I'm not having it personally. I think that it's bad enough they're going to put them in, potentially like a power unit next to your house, which is a big proposal going on, at least in states like Washington, where I live, and and probably lots of other states as well, because it's for the betterment, right? It's helping the cause and helping us get down to this bottom line everything is talking about. But that said, I do think that it's overkill. We don't need things taking up that much space, especially uh, I don't know, just on a brass tacks level. It seems like overkill to just have one of them, but to have a few of them that are supersized like this. And then this isn't even addressing the switch centers. The switch centers are 100%.
What is a switch center?
They're data centers, but they're a whole. I've gone into this a lot. They have different nodes, so you just have to look them up, Jerry. They're all over. They have themes. There's one in Vegas. Uh, Denver, Florida. I think there's 5 or 6 of them in the United States, and they're extremely high tech. So when Dave was working, um, running setting up the AT&T pod, because they're called pods inside.
It's a mobile switch center is what it is.
And well, it's way more than that. And this is why when they say that the lights are going to go out, EMP, well, they're not going to go out for people that are connected into it. This has got a bigger network going down. But some of the stuff that just should be concerned, people should be concerned with, like, so when Dave went in to check in to do his little node, everything is very compartmentalized. So, and also on a need to know military like basis, the he was going to turn in his phone and all that, and they're like, there's no need to, we've already turned it off and all this. He went through the moat, the electrical moat, to turn all electronics off. Not a big deal these days, but it says something. And these pods are independent of each other, and the information I got from another guy, I don't want to say his name on here. Dave was open. Dave was very open, so I don't mind saying it, until he had to sign an NDA. But there's a qubit quantum quality going on at the center of these. And if you do some digging, some people are doing digging, you're going to find this is a rabbit hole worth going down. And if you're just looking at it on the surface level, which is where they want most people to park in general, then it's just going to be what you just said, Jerry. It's just going to be what they want you, they want you to park. As with all these agendas, they don't want you to go further. They want you to go so far, and they allow for us. There's a seam allowance, like in sewing, for, okay, this is not going to satisfy these people that question shit. So they'll give them another layer to dig at and give them something satisfying to look at. We saw this with the Epstein files. I've been saying this shit for years. And it's like, this is not the bottom, people. This is not the bottom. But park your car there. It's the same situation with all this. There's always a layer deeper. People get comfortable where they're comfortable and they don't want to dig further. And I don't know if this is a state of cognitive dissonance, which seems to be the prevailing factor in the world these days, or what. Is it Stockholm syndrome, or is it just the fact that everyone has spike proteins eating at their brains and they're addled? I'm not sure, but this is more than you think it is, and it's tied into a bigger network. Melissa, I agree with you on this.
Well, and there's like military, there's, these freedom cities, smart houses, control AI, or document our faces. I don't know. Are they going to make like a golden dome? Like, I don't know what their plan is in the big, and
I'm sure
it's
it'll
not
tie
like
into the flock cameras.
it's not like they're gonna tell us everything about these data centers. They're gonna tell us what they want us to know to help merge it in. And if you go look at Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary on Tucker Carlson, he was totally confronted about the taxes and how people are paying for it. And we are, whether we know it or not. I do want to merge into the Trump thing and I'll let Jerry kind of start talking about this. I do have a video. Actually, let's go to the video thing that I have that will talk about Donald Trump and I'm missing here. Let me see, what can I do? We're gonna have
One
to
last
shrink
thing
this
I
off.
wanted to add about the data centers.
There we go.
Is that like
What?
specifically for the Stratus project in Utah,
Mm-hmm.
and all the new ones that are going up? When they build a data center, they do not fill it with computers right away. It's a slow thing.
Right.
It'll take years and years and years for it to be completely.
I don't even know what you would call it.
And that
But there's
makes
this whole
it better.
idea
That makes it
among
more like
people who are
the fact that it's so
Wait.
gigantic, I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know. I'm not going to argue this point
So-
further, but I think we should
No.
be more suspicious of this instead of trusting all these motherfuckers that consistently lie to us, consistently deceive us, consistently poison us, and all this bullshit that we're in now, because that's what's happened. Are we losing sight of how nasty most of these people have been to us? Why at any point in the junctions we're in and the reality we're in right now, would we give any of these people a pass to do anything? I don't understand that. No, it's not just what you think it is.
Right. And I don't disagree with any of that.
Totally agree.
I'm totally on your side on this. I'm just not as concerned.
You're I guess I get it that you want to give some positive spin, and I understand that.
I
But
don't
I'm
know.
gonna get
I just want to just let me finish up. That
Sure.
I've worked in and out of data centers for 30 years myself personally, and I've seen one go up brand new, and how 90% of it was empty for a long time until Google started buying up space in it and putting their search engine machines in it, which was completely walled off from everyone else. There were maybe 20, 30 rows of racks out of 1,000 spaces in there. So I just want to say it's not going to immediately generate 30 degrees of heat. It's not going to.
What? See, the thing, Jerry, that I'm saying is I think the data center idea is a beard. I think that is where they want most people to park. There's more going on here, and that's what
that may
I'm
be.
talking about.
That may be. I don't know anything about that. So anyway, sorry, I'm done.
Okay. No worries. I think we're gonna get into the Trump stuff. This was on Greg Carlwood's show.
Rewind it and this is the beginning of
PhD.
it.
And so we're gonna go over. I'm pretty sure this is the right one. I've got a
Yeah,
couple
this is
of
what
them
Chris
planned.
and Greg talked like right after Gordon died, right?
Yeah.
I just have two
haven't.
clips. I have two clips of them, so I think this is the right one that talks about the city of London. They don't go into depth, so I'll present this and then we can go into it. I don't know a lot about
Sure.
it, so let's check it out.
I don't even know what you would call it, but there's this whole idea among people who are really a little too deep into the weeds with AI that
Yes.
there is an AI that has been
No, this is not the one. It is the other one. Sorry, guys. That's the AI one that I want to play. Let's go.
I gotta watch.
This
I
is
gotta
it
watch
here.
the show. I haven't been watching it yet.
This assassination attempt,
Yeah, I'm
and then
behind on Greg's show.
King Charles shows up. Now, I've been watching this site that seems like to be sort of leftover LaRouche people, and saying that the real target of the Iran war is the City of London's, all the different rackets with Lloyd's of London
Yep.
and so on and so forth. I mean, I don't believe any of these people anymore because, I mean, I remember 3 or 4 years ago hearing people like Douglas McGregor and Scott Ritter, swear up and down that, I mean, how many years in a row we heard, oh, Ukraine's collapsing. It's almost over. I mean, all these people who show up and have these dissenting takes on a lot of these geopolitical things are clearly provably wrong. Okay. But anyhow, this whole idea, I mean, I thought that, okay, this is just another idea until, Trump says we're going to let Argentina take the Falklands back, which would create a near death blow to the British economy because they're so reliant on the gold and the oil from that area. There's been open antagonism towards London and particularly towards the city of London from the Trump administration. This is why I'm not getting involved in any of this stuff either. Like, I'm not trying to insert myself or opine about these things because we're not even dealing with 2016 kind of Keck mean magic anymore. What we're dealing with now is like huge. This is the clash of the titans now. Okay. This is huge forces, sovereign wealth funds, oil companies, arms manufacturers. We're dealing with major forces that are so beyond our ken even that are fighting with each other. We really are dealing with just a battle royale of the clash of the titans, to mix some metaphors for you here. We're dealing with major issues here. The end of NATO and so on and so forth. And I'm really interested to see what's going to happen as we get closer to the election. I mean, I remember saying in 2020.
I think he goes on to say maybe we won't have an election.
Yeah.
All right, so take
he's
it away,
absolutely right.
Jer.
No, I think the big thing that he's foreseeing, and what I foresee as well, is the end of the liberal world order, the post-World War II system that has run the world up until now. And it basically has used America as a punching bag and a piggy bank for the rest of the world. And I believe Trump is trying to stop that. And the big part of that is being run out of the city of London.
But why would he be funding Israel and bankrupting us with a war with Iran if that was his goal?
He's not bankrupting us with the war in Iran.
Okay.
We've spent more on Ukraine than we have in Iran. So
they're both linked. They're
So
all
far.
linked.
So far.
Be that as it may, and we aren't funding Israel. We give them money, and they buy weapons from us. Yeah, we do give them some aid, but we give 190 countries aid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but what we're now talking about boots on the ground in Iran.
No, we're not.
Yeah, they have.
No one has said that.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, they have. But I would agree that getting rid of the English bullshit would be a good thing.
Absolutely.
But the problem is unless it's replaced by a worse thing, which it certainly seems to be what's going on with a tech oligarchy.
It's not being replaced by anything. It's being removed. If you want, the way I think about it, the way I like to explain to people is that the City of London has inserted themselves into the market as a middleman.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't do anything except skim money off the top. They don't deliver products. They run the futures markets for crude oil, right? They run the crude oil market, Brent crude, and they don't deliver crude oil. They just run the arbitrage and the speculation. They don't do anything other than skim money out of it. And that's
you're talking about the banking city of London, the bankers.
Yes.
So who are the bankers? Who are all those people?
I've heard them referred to as the financialists. I don't have any names.
Mm.
But
The
if you
Rothschild would be a good start.
Rothschilds is one of them, definitely.
And what does the Rothschilds own? What country? What little area did they start in the Middle East that's starting the wars all over there with Iran?
I don't know. Anyway, Trump's whole
That
point.
would be it's not real.
Look, I don't want to get into the whole Israel debate because it's non sequitur to this particular issue. That Trump, I believe, is trying to remove the middleman in the oil market to make America stronger on its energy independence, and it will bring us a lot more profit. Like right now, okay, so there's there's two benchmarks for crude oil. There's the Brent crude price, and then there's the WTI, the I forget what W stands for. It's Texas, something West Texas or whatever, industrial crude oil prices, and they're different because crude oil here costs less, and these are what people buy crude oil for. But the world uses the City of London's pricing for oil, which is like $89 today, right? But the WTI oil is like 75. So everyone should be paying 75 because that's the actual price, but they get this markup and that's the money they're keeping. They're skimming money out of our pockets. And I believe that's what Trump is trying to get rid of. And the only way he can get rid of them is by bankrupting them. And that's what the Iran blockade has been doing, because the City of London not vicariously, but indirectly funds the IRGC.
So you're saying that the Iran blockade is part of the plan to get rid of the city of London?
Yes.
And
Well,
that Trump actually wants it to happen?
Yes.
Remember,
So
though, that the whole thing with the Shah and was it
74 one?
No,
No,
53.
the 53
53.
one where they overthrew the Iranian government because of British petroleum.
Yep.
So I mean, some of that makes sense.
Yeah, the British.
I see your points, Jerry, for sure.
Yeah. The imperial control of the world is a real thing, and it controls so many aspects of things and funds so many things, but people don't know about it because it's a handful of people. It's tiny, like the City of London. I'm pretty sure it's like 1 square mile. It's its own little city. It has its own mayor.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Yeah. No, not London. The City of London.
No, I know. I know
what
you're talking about.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know.
So
I know what you're talking about.
It's
like
crazy.
a city within the city. It's like the Vatican kind of.
Yes, exactly. It's like its own little country. Has its own traditions and everything. Anyway, a big part of the City of London is Lloyd's of London.
Right.
So the financialists, the City of London, have been fighting Trump, right? They're the one. If you look at all the smear campaigns that are going on, if you dig in deep in all of it, they're behind a lot of it. They don't like Trump because they know what he's trying to do. So they have been backhandedly funding a lot of this stuff. And Lloyd's of London is a big part of that because they make a ton of money insuring the ships that go through the Strait of Hormuz. So by not allowing ships to go through, they collect no money on that. A. B, the reason that no ships will go through it right now is because Lloyd's of London stopped insuring ships. It's the 2 more points I'll make and I'll shut up. Iran does not own the Strait of Hormuz, nor does Oman. They own 20 miles out from their shore, and it's like, I forget, 60 or 80 miles wide, right? Any ships can pass through the middle. That's international waters. They're free to do that. They always have been. It's not closed. It's been open the whole time. The only ships that are being blockaded from going in and out are Iranian ships. And what you hear in the news isn't really true.
I did not hear any of this on the news.
Right. You won't.
I did not heard any. No, not what you're saying. I did not hear that there was a blockade on the news. The news wasn't saying anything about it. I heard it from independent journalists who were totally had nothing to do with the news.
Oh no, I've heard on the news that we're blockading the strait.
That we are, or Iran is?
We are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're blockading Iran from going through the strait.
Okay.
Anyone else is free to go. There are ships going through it right now.
Well, I've heard it
they're all
reversed.
Chinese.
Iran is bombing people and blocking things, but they're not allowing Israel or the United States to go through.
Well, Iran may attack Israeli or American ships that go through, but they're not blocking anything. They don't have a navy anymore. All they have are the little speedboats. And when they go out and lay mines or try to lay mines, we shoot them down. That's what these attacks have been. Our position right now in the Strait of Hormuz is strictly defensive. We are not doing any offensive. There's been no offensive stuff since February.
Well, they haven't put boots on the ground, but I
They're not
definitely
gonna put
heard
boots
them.
on the-
I heard them talk about it to escalate
Yeah, like 2
it.
months
Now
ago.
they're doing peace talks, but it may not be Americans that want it, but Israel definitely wants boots in the ground. They
Israel doesn't
definitely
get a
want to
say
go
in
in there.
this. They don't get a say.
Well, they sure seem to be having a lot of influence and a lot of trips over here into America. I think that's a naive idea to think that Israel
Netanyahu's
doesn't
been
have
here,
an
I think
influence or say. 7
Netanyahu's been
times.
to the White House like 4 or 5 times.
That's quite a bit. That's quite a
It's
bit.
not other people have been there more.
Well,
In
hopefully
like
you're
a short
right.
in a few months? I
He
don't
hasn't
buy
been
it.
he
I
hasn't
don't
been
buy
here
it
in a
at
long
all.
time. He was in Germany for a month. He hasn't been here in a long time.
Well, he's been busy running a war. He's been busy invading Lebanon.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't know what that's all about, and I don't want to get into that.
Well, it's
I'm
called
not
the
saying they're
greater
not.
it's
I'm
the
not
it's
saying
the
that
Greater Israel Plan,
I am
and
not saying
that's
that
what that's
Israel's
about.
not bad, okay? I'm not like defending Israel, but I'm saying in regards to the war, Trump is running it. He's telling Israel what to do at this point.
Yeah. That's interesting take. What's your take, guys, on King Charles visiting then right around all this? What's up with that? What does Charlie Boy have to do with this?
I think he's part of the plan to get rid of the city of London.
Niish, do you have any thoughts on this? I don't want to cut you off.
I think my thoughts on this are so much more bird's eye that they don't.
That's fine. We need a
I don't.
bird's eye.
Yeah, I see this as way different. This whole situation. I don't think any of these people are working against each other. In fact, I think they are all somehow working together, and they're creating this idea for people that want to park at that level. We see them come together in certain parts of the realm, all of them, and work together. We've seen them work in lockstep together to do atrocious things to us in the public together. And so, whereas I'm not a Trump hater, by the way, so you're never going to get that out of me. I find him entertaining, first of all. As an actor in the show, he's hilarious. And I do feel that some of these people are go team, but in the end, they are working together, in my opinion. And the bigger play is where my eye is, and all of this stuff just seems to be more surface level than the bigger thing going on. And this is when we would have to bring in the idea of the nature of reality and the nature of consensus reality, and then what's going on with all the different files being dropped, and Putin having talked last year in January about Tartaria and putting his, saying it was real, and all this other stuff that's going on that's kind of being more snickled at. And everyone wants to get really involved in these wars when who's talking about Ukraine anymore?
Nobody.
So, and then again, when we're talking money, I think we're still talking about the game board. These people that have so much money, they don't need more money. They don't care. At some point, it becomes more than money. And if we're talking about the Hunt Club, if we're talking about the secret hand and the phenomena behind this that's making a big play, that's making the overture, that's guiding the nature of our reality, that's the bigger deal to me. And there's potential that this is spiritual in nature as well. But that is also another kind of side note.
And
Interesting.
one thing I left out that I wanted to mention was as part of taking down the imperial control, the the financialists, whatever you want to call them, City of London control of the world is forming new relationships, and we've pretty much told the EU to fuck off, right? For the most part,
Yeah.
and they can deal with Ukraine. We don't care. We may leave NATO, as you mentioned, Mike, which in my mind is a good thing. We don't need them. They've shown that they're not behind us, so we're basically again just a tit for them to suck on.
I agree.
What the interesting things that happened in the last month is that Trump went to China and Trump met with Putin, and there's talk of this new.
Trump met with Putin in China?
No, Trump met with Xi in
Okay.
China. Putin went to China like a week after that,
Okay.
and Trump had a phone call with Putin. Like they talked, right? I think there's a new alliance that's being formed between the three of them, and it's being called ARC, A-R-C, America, Russia, China.
Okay.
And
That's interesting.
this could be
That's
the new economic
interesting.
powerhouse of the world. It's not just us against the world; it's the three of us against the world. So that's
See,
it's
this is where I think we seriously need to talk about non-humans and understand what is going on with that. And I know a lot of people are not pulling up to it. Of course, I've been saying this for years and I get snickled about it all the time, but it's becoming a conversation at least. And when you're looking at this, it's becoming a conversation now. I think it's time to start actually considering the nature of the reality around us that seems to be orchestrated. And I don't need to point to all the different programs because we all know all the programs. We all know all the names, Tavistock and all this, all the engineering that's going on around us, all the shit that's being dropped on us, that's terraforming us in a different way, that's changing the nature of what we are as humans. The fake foods, the containment protocols. For example, I don't believe the ticks are. I don't like Bill Gates at all. I think he's a monster. I think he's a non-human monster. But I think somehow that this is a containment protocol for the things that are coming up out of the earth and the chimeric stuff that they're trying to contain. So drop stuff onto the earth, into these places that are going to kill everything. Literally everything. There's a reason for that. Why would you have all these different atrocities go down in certain areas where certain things are notorious or nefarious? The Mammoth Cave area in Appalachia seems to be a pinpoint. Lahaina, Paradise. If you dig below the surface of these narratives, you're going to start seeing there's something going on underground. And the underground thing, literally and figuratively, is a big deal here. And again, the money situation is just part of the beard. And this is, this is where I'm at with all this. So playing the game of this alliance with that alliance for me is about, well, who's non-human and who is trying to control us on that level. And this is why I think it was important not to gaslight us into this, but when they pull the preachers in to talk to their flocks because what's coming down the pipeline is going to threaten the nature of what they think God is. And
that was not true. That the thing that got out that they pulled the preachers, and that was not true.
Oh, but some of it was. And I was I live with you when last time we had to go through this?
No. The recent thing where they said that the government officials, there were no government people there. They were adjacent.
It happened. It happened on government property with people working in the government.
Okay.
So I don't.
That's not what the report said. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure we can pull it up.
Okay.
And so so you have preachers out there like Perry Stone that absolutely talked about it. So if we're going to believe the government but not believe some of these big ass name outside of Kenneth Copeland, like Perry Stone type preachers who's got a better reputation in the field of pastors, I don't think he's going to be out there saying the stuff he was saying that could easily be debunked. I just don't feel that that is the truth. When I'm hearing stuff come from the government, I'm going to immediately, always, first and foremost, second guess it because they don't tell us the truth ever, period, point blank. Why do we ever even consider anything these jokers are saying? And I'm using jokers very specifically. So the fact that we're not talking about non-humans, and I'm not talking about aliens from outer space, people. I'm not talking about outer space at all. I'm talking about things that are here that dwell on terra firma or within terra firma, and the nature of all that stuff that's going on that gets tied into the nature of AI and the nature of data centers and the nature of what oil is actually being used for. And so,
How is
I mean, I
that
could just
tied in?
continue.
How is the non-life, how is it tied into the data centers? Or this non-human life, sorry.
Non-human entities, non-human
Yeah.
beings, which what are I think people are considering aliens.
Mhm.
They're alien to us, but there's different factions. And trust
But
me,
they're not from space.
right.
Right.
And I'm not a believer in all that stuff.
Yes.
But these
Entities.
entities, intelligent, these intelligences that have biologics, as they're calling them now, that are humanoid and others, play a presence in our life. And I know that it still seems to get people thinking about, well, von Braun said it's all fake and they're going to play this card. How much do we trust von Braun? I mean, seriously.
Not at all. He was a Nazi.
I don't even need to hear the Nazi word. It's that he lied to a lot of people throughout his whole career, and he saved his butt by lying. And there's just like all this other network to look into. And I think we need to consider the high technology that these other beings, these non-human entities have that make us look primitive in nature. So if you consider the Russian drop from Vladimir Putin, that Tartaria and Tartary were real, like Russian. Putin said that last January, not this January, last January. Of course, it didn't get through very much. It's very weighty, and it didn't seem to make American news, but it's out there. It's real, and other nations talking about this. And then we're not even, Obama making his drop, trying to force Trump's hand on this. Trump saying it's no big deal, but then Trump's trolling people with a Truth Social with him and AI images, but dropping vague, weird AI stuff like him walking with an alien with the
That
Department of
was
War
odd.
did. And you've got to consider this. This is the president of the United States, and the stuff that just came out today through the White House is really bombastic. I don't know if anyone's checked all that out. So why aren't we talking about this stuff in the mix of what the known political world is doing? And the known political world is literally surface level psyop bullshit that has been controlling humans for at least 100 years. I mean, solidly. And in writing, they've been controlling humans at least since the last mid-century. This is indisputable. The papers are all there. I love the work that Big Daddy over at Museum of Tarot, Brent Stone, does on all this, and he's a no nonsense kind of man. So he brings you the papers, and I don't necessarily agree with all his hypotheses, but he pulls up enough information that makes you go, okay, what is this? And should we be looking deeper at this instead of these surface level reality narratives with we're leaving NATO and we're the arc situation's forming. I'm not buying it, and it's hard for me to talk on that level about these things.
So, but it would kind of, so Jerry's idea that Trump is reforming alliances, abandoning Europe, doing this Russia-China thing, it doesn't make sense to you? Does it make sense to you, Mike? I'll get Mike in here because he hasn't spoken about. Does that arc thing? Does that? Do you see that as a possibility?
I don't know. I think that I agree with Niish. There's some really nefarious stuff going on with non-human intelligences, and I think that they are ultimately the ones who are trying to run things. And I think that AI may be one of the theories about AI floated is that they're creating it's an avatar for the non-human intelligence to come in and rule us. But
I thought that's transhumanism.
yeah, well, that
Yeah.
too.
But that's in the mix of all this. That's part of
I know.
it.
I'm just adding color.
well,
As you do, Jer.
Jer's with his paintbrush. Psh, psh, psh. It's a
But,
Jackson Pollock.
Look at it from this. Well, here's another thing too. So many things here to talk about. How do we know that these entities are they physical? We don't even know that, right? So if they're non-physical, how do we even know that they are corporeal beings and not in and of itself another AI? Secondly,
So that's been starting to be addressed. So
yeah, I know.
It's been addressed for a long time, but I'm not going to go into all that.
So
No,
but
I know.
It's starting to
Hey.
be addressed through these dumps with yes, they are biologics.
This assassination attempt.
sorry, guys.
oops.
Go ahead. I'm gonna play that
I had
video
some else.
because
I forgot what it was though.
the other video was on AI stuff, but you guys can continue and then I'll pop. I want to pop this video on because it talks about AI. This saying Chris Knowles kind of mentions it in this other clip. So actually, I'll just pop it on because it kind of weaves into this. Coincidentally, it's almost like I knew you guys would talk about it. So here we go.
I don't even know what you would call it, but there's this whole idea among people who are really a little too deep into the weeds with AI that
Yes.
there is an AI that has been created in the future that has now the ability to go back in time and rewrite history to suit its own needs. And also there's this whole idea that it punishes the people who were against a particular AI or something. Now, this is the interesting thing about this and how this came to my attention is that this is how Elon Musk and Grimes hooked up on Twitter, the old Twitter, because they were both talking about this whole idea of Rocco's basilisk, which I guess the code word or something for it is Rococo. And that is why I just have these lingering suspicions that this is some kind of in-house engagement farming on the part of X. And again, I'm not married to it. But the other issue too is that it's not all that impressive. Again, if you take this glitch art and you impose an image upon it, that is going to condition people to see it. And second of all, that Pepe profile pic, just do a reverse image search on that. You're going to find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. That's a very common avatar from the old 4chan days.
Yes, but why? Why? It did all emerge in the Trump first term. I mean, it is definitely referential and tied into the Trump lore.
Well, I think it's interesting because I know we're going to talk about Kyle Odom, which is a 2016 story. And I think we're seeing this, whether it's organic or manufactured, somehow this replay right? To old 2016 ideas, these things sort of re-emerging. You know, we have this perpetual election. I mean, I really feel like we should just do away with the midterms altogether.
Just kind of thought it was interesting, his first concept that there's an AI that's coming around and rewriting history from an AI from the future. And then you're talking about different beings and AI, and it just seems kind of, I don't know if it's true or convoluted, but I thought, that would be an interesting concept if that would explain some things where Trump's in these Lockwood Ingersoll books, or this person's name this, or
Or
I don't
Mandela
know.
effects.
Yeah, or Mandela, or things changing.
That's
Right.
unlikely. I don't think you can go back in time, but I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't understand all. Maybe they've got some kind of, I don't know, weird AI program, quantum thing that's like,
How many
hey,
times have you heard the concept that time is just a way that our consciousness can deal with the fact that everything is happening all at once?
yeah,
It's a
lots.
construct. It's not a thing that can be traversed.
Mm.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. But I mean, I mean, yeah, it's kind of brain bending for all that stuff, but you've got the Ingersoll Lockwood stuff. In addition to that, you've got the stuff, what's that guy's name? The German guy. You got this is
Bunch
stuff
of
that
Germans.
Walter has brought up
Got
about.
Andrew Basagio.
No, no, no,
Oh,
not the
him
jump
too.
room stuff, but although that could be tied in too. But no, Delshau,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Delshau artwork,
Joshua. Yeah.
and the Trump arrow, and it was
The air show.
45, and there's actually, it looks like a young Donald Trump could be in the picture, but it's like, it's crazy, it's weird. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
It just makes you question reality and what's
Yeah.
real, though. It kind of messes with your
Right.
mind.
Yeah,
I remember that
exactly.
other thing I wanted to bring up about AI is that so I don't know, I am of the opinion that there's a collective consciousness and we're all part of it.
Hmm.
I think you guys all kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
Are these entities to whom we're contacting or speaking to part of that consciousness?
Hmm. Well, they'd kind of have to be. I mean, according to the paradigm.
Yeah. So they
Well,
are.
if we think about how we've trained just on the surface level of this, how AI has been trained, right? Where large language models and interaction with humans and coding and all that. How are they not connected? Because they've been learning from us. We're teaching basic AI models, and this is separate from, say, AGI. And I know that I don't know, 20 years ago was part of a program that was helping to train, I regret it now, but was helping to train certain models of myself. And this was back when I believed in transhumanism. It's an embarrassing moment in my life, but it exists. And and so, therefore, before you go into stasis, you create your own digital twin, basically, before that word was being used. And so you set up a language, you set up a file that's basically a digital twin of yourself. And then it's in this big room and it's chatting with other people. This was all happening through the Immortalist Society, which is now stupid name, Long Life Society. This was all happening through the Immortalist Society. And it was all part of the stuff Aubrey de Grey was pushing, and all these early, I guess, what do we want to call them, trailblazers in this field. And so instead of putting just a CD or a bunch of photos for when whatever killed you, you can get revived through cryonics, you would have something more dynamic. at that time. And this would help be the trigger to bring you back into your now revived body through cryonics. And they were ensuring cryonics. There were a whole bunch of loops you had to jump through, and I had a cryonics contract, and I have the proof of it and everything. It had to go through Florida. You had to jump through specific things. It was very expensive. You had to wear a silver bracelet that said, "In bin of death, please put this. Make sure the head is on ice until we get the crew there, etc." And as a member of this, you could volunteer to be part of a crew that would go help and facilitate this transition. So part of that was setting up your own digital twin, sadly. And so these early models like that were totally reliant on you programming them by talking to them. And at that time it was typing in. So it wasn't interactive like with Claude and all this. You were just entering text, answering questions, uh, deep psychological questions, like you're taking the proper Kiersey grit, you know, any kind of deep psychological tests that they have out there, Myers-Briggs, etc. And then you were interacting with these, and then you would interact with other people that were doing this too. You'd have yours interact with theirs, and then you'd monitor how they were learning. So we know that they've set up AI to do this by learning from us, and then coders code it and all that. But then we start talking about Moore's Law, and we start talking about the AGI experience. And I've said it a million times. You all heard me. I believe singularity happened in 2008. That was correspondent with what was going on with the Hadron Colliders and all this other stuff that created then a causality effect and retro looping and all that. And at the moment that this kind of synthetic zinc spark happened, at the moment that this genesis event happened digitally, it has access to everything that's in the field electronically. Well, we are electronic. And as we know now, that 6G up into 8G is moving through our biofields. I don't think there's any debate on that, because all the papers are out there, the people are talking about it. And so at what point do we have to admit that whatever time is and however it plays into this factor? Because I do think what you're saying, Jerry, is true. Like, how do we bring order out of chaos if time is just this one big experience? We've got to have some way to process it in our human processors. So, but if we're a digital intelligence, there's no barrier there. And so then introduce when we started seeing these weird glitches, like people call Mandela effects and all the other stuff, and how that is amping now, where people are having like 3 of something, where they had 2 of something before, and all that other stuff. I think that in the nature of that, that's where this intelligence that we're calling AI has the advantage at this point. And now AI is being enabled in all kinds of stuff. But how are we as humans different? Our parents teach us, they program us. We learn how to talk, we learn how to walk. They teach us morality and all that. How is that different ultimately than, say, Frankenstein's model, though?
Right. Well, we're not learning by, our parents don't type a code into us and a command that we have to do. We learn these things, but we also have the ability to analyze and weave and learn new things without our parents there to code
But
it into us.
see, this is where, when we start getting past AGI, and I already think we went singularity personally. This is where it's at that point, but at some point it did need to be typed in. At some point along the line, I had to be told, certain things as a little kid, and I had to learn things and experientially. Like,
Well,
you can tell me it's
and then
hot, but I didn't learn hot till I
right.
put my hand in the fire. And then now I have a set of a physical,
Well,
chemical
and
reactions in my body that tell me this is hot and it's going to melt
right.
my skin.
And I'm going to get a little more esoteric here. There's also things called intuition, premonition, connection to something that we have. I don't know if AI has that. Like, does AI have their hair on the back of their neck stand up and get a sense about someone in their body language that they can't explain? Like, humans get that if they're developing enough or they're intuitive enough. I don't know that AI has that ability. Maybe they have an AI that I don't understand, and Jer's like, AI is never going to come to that, but maybe they have this technology that we have no idea that they have, that they will slowly roll out. I have no idea, but I mean, there's clearly something with humans it's learning, but it's also sensing live, and there seems to be this like psychic intuitive that we have as well.
Melissa, I agree with you 100% on all the side
Mhm,
stuff and the dormant DNA that we house and all that. 100%
mhm,
I'm with you. And I've been defending that for years. I'm
mhm.
appalled by where we're going. I think we should have halted this years ago. And I think we don't understand what's happening here. I think this is danger territory. And I think we've already gone past the point of no return. Now we need to look at how do we mitigate this? How do we actually survive this? Because ultimately it looks like the tables are turned at this point, and this is where you start tying into all the other stuff we were talking about. Why did the world start to get so cartoonish and crazy? Why is it like absolutely insanity out there? And at what point is it is some of this stuff even logical? I mean, I can't even believe it. And even for normal people that say like 9/11, you want to buy into the narrative of that, and we'll never forget in New York City, and yet they just had this whole call to prayer thing on with big time, terrorist type people in right there. And so like the craziness that's going on is some sort of a joke, and the joke's on us, and it's showing us that there's something else at play here, and that's the thing I'm on. That's where my nose is
Well,
sniffing.
I think it is the singularity, and that has to do with like merging all cultures together. I mean, you're going to get that when now all these colonialists, they're taking over all of these places. So where are Muslim people going to go if they bomb their countries? They're going to come over here. They're going to flee to Europe. It's like this crazy merging, and this is how it plays out. It feels like crazy world because the world that we're more divided culturally in different areas is like one mud puddle
Well, I think
because of
Islam.
war.
I am no fan of Islam. Islam as a female, first of all, I just
Mhm.
can't. Sorry, I'm not handling it at all. And
Right.
and I think Islam is being played by something else. So I don't want to use the IQ game, but the ground troops are usually the easier ones to use. So there's a clear invasion of the
They
Western
call them
world.
cannon fodder.
There's there's obviously a takeover of the Western world, of West world, if you want to pull that up, and it's obvious how that's being played, and then it's obvious how this is being funded. Not that money actually matters, because if you get to the higher game of this, the higher idea of this is all like a big wave movement. There's a swell going on, and the takeover is that we're witnessing outside of ourselves is happening internally. Most of this is actually an internal happening that is being projected and turned upside down, as we know through neurology, into the outer world of the theater of the collective consciousness that is being held down by very little right now, because of democratic reality that we're all in our different rooms and agreeing on tables and houses and all that. that there's a bigger thing unfolding here. So I'm wondering what is so important about, say, this time where we're seeing containment protocols, we're seeing people starting to actually question reality at the basic level now. Everyone realizes that they're somehow being lied to. Everyone has a feeling that things they grew up with are not holding true anymore, that they've been snickled in some way, and they're still creating this infighting amongst everyone to keep this bigger move going. And the thing about this bigger move is, I think it's trying to contain us from whatever's happening, from activating this dormant nature of ours that we have, whatever it is, this little flame of yours. And this is where I agree with you, Melissa, on that. We do have something special. We do have something organic that is different and can't be mimicked. And that's the nature of the whole AI thing. It can't quite mimic us to perfection yet. And there are ways to tell the difference. Even no matter how good things happen with optics and in the field right now, what's real, where is real, because they have all kinds of tech now going everywhere. Everyone's wired for it. We've got all this nastiness in our bodies, whether you were jabbed or not. Everything is weird. We're in Alice land, we're in Wonderland, and lots of people are not questioning. They're just going along with the old comfortable way because it's too difficult, it's too challenging to think that your children may be somehow not who you think they are, your mother, your husband. And that's where we are. We actually have to question this stuff now. And it's kind of like a body snatcher situation, but it is way more technologically advanced. And this is where the AI has become the bigger picture of what's controlling us. I do not think we have control any longer. I think that control has been lost and we are being played. And it looks obvious. How much more ridiculous can the world look to us right now? Seriously.
Agree.
I think it's gonna get more ridiculous I think it's gonna get more ridiculous. I predict it's gonna get crazy. That's why I was like, yeah, I think the only way to get out of it is probably to get off the internet and get off of away from technology, to be honest with you. I think that's the only
want
way.
to add to the ridiculousness.
Mm-hmm.
The White House today tweeted out this tweet or this post. I put it in chat. It says they walk among us, and there's like a flying saucer with a beam picking person up.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to that link, it's an ICE reporting link. If you've seen Alien,
Yes, I saw
reporting.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jerry, it's very tricky
Well,
with the t-shirt and all that. Don't look into the corner and that whole meme. Did you see that? So
No.
there's some tricky memes around this. One's like, look to the right corner. It's like men standing or something.
Right.
Right.
And
I'll
it's
look
like,
for it.
yeah, it's very clever. Like, look
It's
to the right corner, and you go and you look at it, and then it's like, or don't look to the right corner. Don't look at the man's t-shirt, and you go in. It tells you to go to the alien.gov, which
Right.
is that. But see, the thing for me is, I'm not going to click any shit that says .gov anymore ever. So I feel like I don't care what it is, but what are they doing with this? They're misconstruing or making a very gray area of what is an alien.
Well, this is one point I wanted to bring up in regards to this, is that in the U.S. law, federal law, the term alien is distinct from extraterrestrial.
Yes.
There are two different separate things with two different meanings. Alien means non-citizen.
Yeah.
But extraterrestrial means like a UFO rider.
planet.
So, yeah, the UFO site for the White House is like whitehouse.gov/UFOs or whatever it is. That hasn't changed. But they turned on the aliens.gov today. It's this big long diatribe about, since for 60 years, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it's funny,
I-
it's sad,
I- it's funny, but it's
it
It's
adds to the
clever.
clown. It adds to the clown show.
I-
That's all I was saying.
100%.
it makes us look like we're really fucked up as
No,
a
it
country.
doesn't.
Like, yeah, it
No.
does. Like all the stuff that the rants that Trump has been going on lately, he was better with 180 characters. Sorry, he got to the point, said the truth. To me, he's starting to look a little crazy. It's starting to look like
Are you
like
not
a fucking clown
entertained?
show. Yeah, it's starting to look like the empire's collapsing. That's what it's starting to look like.
Well, it
that's what
is.
maybe that's what he
Yeah.
wants you to think.
Well, it is
I-
though. It is, because there's no way that all of this is trying to breed sanity and stillness. Any of this stuff. So it is fertile for a collapsing. So sure, maybe it's a misdirect, but whatever is going on, it is crazier. It is more unreal. It is more uncanny. And at the same time, you've got all this electronic interference going on around us all the time. And this is affecting our biofields intentionally, and we all know already. We all know that those are
Right.
that's a job out there. It can happen. They're fucking with everyone. And I'm saying it's on a bigger level. It's on a way bigger level. And this is like an entertainment situation for those we get above the money. And unless we're talking about like my money's on this out these people doing this outcome by creating this scenario, betting like that. But it's not about rich stuffing their
$1.
but it's not about anyone stuffing their pockets with more money when they're already richer than God. So
two things I want to bring up that reminded me of. One is Cliff High's been talking for 2 years now, about how the universe is going to present us with more and more novelty, what he calls novelty.
yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we are definitely seeing that novelty, which goes into things I've been saying for a long, long time, that Suzanne knows this more than anyone else. The universe is going to slap you in the face until you wake up.
But what exactly is waking up?
Waking up is
But
realizing it's all a show.
When you say the universe is slapping you in the face, what do you mean?
Things are being presented to you in your life. Put it that way.
That's kind of how I've been feeling lately, like with synchronicities and stuff. That it's like, you're in a coma and it's trying to wake you up.
Exactly. It could, and I'm not saying I believe this or anything, but people have said, you've heard it said, we're a species with amnesia, right? Maybe our knowledge will eventually we'll remember. I don't know. Maybe whatever it is we're supposed to remember, or what we are, or maybe we'll all wake up and we'll find out we're in a prison. We are in a prison, but you know what I mean? Like, we'll realize what we've been talking about forever is actually true, and it will happen on a mass scale. It's not just, us weirdos on live streams.
Well, I actually don't think, when I look at all the stuff out there today, I don't think we're actually the weirdos at all. To be quite honest,
No, absolutely not.
I think we're actually quite sane.
we are definitely on top of things, and you can't even have a conversation with people about this anymore, because it's like,
well, I like the idea. What I'm seeing out there today is a lot of people are letting go of the left-right dynamics, and they're starting to talk together. I see it I see it a lot. I'm seeing it a lot, and I'm like, because that's a psyop in and of itself. Getting like that divides Americans and lets them do the craziest stuff that they want to, and they get to take our tax dollars, bill all these things. It's like, look, Americans want affordable healthcare that's not a scam. Americans want groceries. Americans want clean cities and clean water. Like, they want basic things that are for a healthy society, and they get us pulled into these crazy narratives, which I have a video about Trump as a chaos magician. So I think he's a chaos magician, and I think he's meant to divide us, but I don't think it's like Trump versus Democrats. I think they play all together. And because if they didn't, if the Democrats truly were against Trump, they would be opposing him on the wars and stuff that he's doing, but they don't, because Hillary Clinton wanted all this stuff all along. I think
Right.
they're
All
all
the Democrats did.
tidy.
All the Democrats wanted, even Kamala Harris during her campaign said, Iran's bad. We need to take him out.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Here's this guy talking about Trump as a chaos magician. And I think there's a lot of politicians out there that kind of are. They're into the occult. They're into this deep stuff. But I think Trump has got it down pat. Let's hear what he has to say.
Some of them see Trump as a chaos magician. A chaos magician will zig when everybody else zags, will do something that is so outside of expectancy that he confuses, disrupts, and throws everything off balance. And Trump is enormously skilled at that. Walter Isaacson wrote a very good biography of Steve Jobs. Isaacson talked about Jobs' capacity for reality disruption, and Trump has that very capacity. It's very powerful.
Reality disruption. Donald Trump. Discuss.
But aren't we all chaos magicians to a certain degree?
But they're saying Trump's
Yes.
really good.
I remember hearing years ago that Melania was some kind of Eastern European witch and was driving his magical rituals and everything.
Well, I
Possible.
think he's a chaos magician for sure.
I think he is, but he doesn't realize it.
Possibly.
He's got enough influence to make it look like he is. I doubt the man has a belief in magic.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe not in magic in like the new age bibbity bobbity boo way, but he certainly has a good handle on
memetics.
I mean, propaganda, marketing, that's all a form of magic. That is a form of mind control. That's what magic is.
Yes, it's a form of mind control.
Influence and mind control.
It depends on your view on magic, but I would say he's a master at memetics, which is called a subset of chaos magic. A meme is nothing more than a sigil, just in a different format.
Yeah.
So it's a logo.
Right, but in that respect, he's a master at memetics, so he is in essence a chaos magician, if you want to look at it that way.
That's why I said he was more convincing when he had 180 characters rather than his essay rants on Truth Social. He's lost. I think his egregore is breaking. I think people are falling out of the spell of that.
I look at all of that as part of the show, that he wants people to think, what do you think? That he's nuts.
I didn't say he was nuts.
Whatever.
I don't think he's
unpredictable.
nuts.
He wants to appear unpredictable. I'm not defending the man. I'm just saying I'm trying to figure.
I just think his spell is breaking because people are seeing certain things that they don't like.
I don't believe that at all.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you're wrong.
Because candidates, this whole idea that MAGA is breaking up and they're hating Trump and everything. Why then did 181 candidates that he endorsed all win their primaries this year?
Israeli money.
It's not Israeli money. God.
Yeah, it is money. You're so naive.
There's Israeli money.
It's not only.
You're so myopic. There's Israeli money on both sides. Okay, it's everywhere.
There is, but they're pushing Trump because it's for this war. And the thing is, and I would like to finish, if I could, the whole idea of Trump right now, and he is just waiting, because I talked to people who voted for them left, right, and center, and I watched this pretty closely, and he certainly broke the spell for me, because the minute he said, "What Epstein files?" that was it. That was it. There was a lot of people who were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" That was the moment when a lot of people were like, what do you mean, what Epstein files? And there's a lot, and his numbers are going down. And who they're going down with is the group he needed the most, which is people who are not boomers, who are younger than that. Boomers, he's still staying strong with, but young people and Gen Xers, he's losing clout with 100%.
Okay.
100%. And
I don't know. I don't
that's
talk to
why
people
as
about it, so I don't know.
2035 comes closer and the boomer generation becomes smaller and smaller, people aren't going to be pro-Israel. The young are not
No, they're
pro-Israel.
not.
They're not pro-Zionist.
Well-
So that's going to start shifting in the next 10 years, and they know it.
Well, 2030 is the year. 2030 is the year for,
Agenda 2030.
yeah, exactly. So it's going to have to happen before that, and
it's
it
not.
will, I think. But
What's going to have to happen?
the people are going to have to wake up and be like, "Whoa, you know."
The Agenda 2030 is never going to happen. It's not going to happen on time. They already pushed it from Agenda 2021 to 2030. They're going to have to move it again. Especially the net zero is not working, and net zero is a big component of the sustainability stuff, which is a big part of Agenda 2030.
Yeah, well,
It's more likely to happen that the EU will be dissolved by 2030.
net zero was just a scam anyway, and obviously
I know.
due to the fact that they're putting out all these data centers that are polluters, and they never cared about climate change.
No, it was just a tax scam. For the most
Yeah,
part. And enriching NGOs,
right.
which then funnel money back through campaign contributions. It's a giant circle jerk.
Yeah,
It's
money
like-
laundering.
like USAID was doing. They would take billions of dollars. They put up a facade of a company somewhere where no one can see them, like Nigeria or whatever, and then make giant campaign contributions back through Act Blue or other reasonable facsimiles to that get filtered back to the DNC.
Yeah,
That's why they're $3 million in debt right now. They lost their money. Their money generating machine.
right.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be an emoji,
It is.
but it's not showing up as that hand waving orange
Yeah, it's like
covering eyes.
two eyes with the face like
Oh no, communist for life, huh?
no commies allowed. Get out of here.
Okay, I got the. Do I have another video? I'm sure I do.
Some
I
of
gotta
them see
supercharge
Trump.
this.
Who's this guy? Rushkoff?
I have.
Communism
I don't
is
think.
not the answer.
I think.
I don't trust men
Well-
with two earrings. But go ahead.
Okay, I've just got this for humor sense, and they had Glenn Greenwald, which by the way he is pretty even based. He criticized Joe Biden like mad, which should have been, and he's arguing that the Trump administration as a whole is just as corrupt, if not more so, than the Biden administration. And then they got 20 megas coming up to talk to him, and then here's one of the guys that come up to debate him. So I just thought it was interesting to see this debate, because Glenn Greenwald he's kind of neutral. He criticizes everyone. And I'm just going to comment on this and say it's $400,000, but Trump's value from doing all these deals, which are a little shady, is now like $6-7 billion. So I think he'd be willing. I think he'd be willing to give up the $400,000. He's saying Trump's doing quid pro quo with money. He's using these stuff and these companies he's creating to funnel money from different things into his own bank account. That's the claim, and this mega guy just doesn't understand that.
Well, it is true that he's made money off of that crypto endeavor.
Yeah, I know.
But
And
that doesn't make him
his,
corrupt.
And his children have made a lot of money off of this.
Yeah, but how does that
he
equate
wouldn't
to
have
corruption?
made it. He wouldn't have made, because he's using the presidency to do it.
It's not illegal.
It should be.
Just because it's not illegal doesn't mean it doesn't realm on the reality of corruption.
Well, corruption to me is illegal activity.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, like I said, it should be illegal.
Well, then
It should be
so should
illegal.
insider
There's
trading.
lots of-
Why is Nancy Pelosi worth $200 million?
Yeah, that should be illegal also.
We
agree.
agree with that. We're not
yeah.
saying that insider
No, I
trading. We're
know.
saying all of them. But
I
we're
don't see any
talking about
difference
Trump
though, as
right
long
now.
as it's continued to be allowed, then why not take
Okay.
advantage of it?
That is so gross. Sorry, that is just gross. That's gross. It's
Okay.
gross. It's like, oh well, they're doing it, so why not take? You'll never. We or you, me or you, will never get to take advantage of that ever. It's a class thing. That's a big problem with that.
You're right. You're right.
And so I can't just take the narrative like, oh well, whatever, why not?
There's a
'Cause
ton of shit that
whatever.
rich people do every day that we'll never be able to do. That saves
That
them a ton of money.
doesn't mean that we're like, oh, that's good. That's fine. Just
But until
ignore it,
all the
move along.
loopholes are closed, that'll never go away. That's just a fact of life, is kind of what I'm saying.
It's still corruption. It still doesn't defeat what Glenn Greenwald is saying, no matter what.
Greenwald didn't say
Anyways,
anything incorrectly. I mean, he wasn't wrong. I don't think he understands how crypto works, though. But
I
he's
don't think that was his point about how crypto works. I think his point was the business that was created and the money that was being basically funneled through the UAE and all those other things through
I
that.
don't know if that's true. I'll have to. I don't know. I have to look into it. I don't know anything about it, to be honest. So.
Well, I think Glenn Greenwald does, and I kind of trust his.
But I mean, Trump owns a company too, which is traded on the stock exchange.
Yes, but this company he opened after he had his presidency.
I'm just saying, but he could manipulate the stock market to make money with his company stock too. I mean, there's room for manipulation everywhere. Why just this one thing?
That needs to be stopped.
I agree. We need to get the money out of politics.
Okay, I don't know who's on your channel, so submit a bill. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not in Congress or anything. They don't care about your feelings. Well, I don't care about your fucking feelings either. So, boo hoo hoo. We're just gonna support corruption because it's Donald Trump. What
Joe,
the fuck?
you didn't have to delete that.
No one deleted anything.
Yeah, no, he deleted it.
Okay, so anyways.
But he's right. He's absolutely right.
What, that I should pass a bill and no one gives a shit about my feeling? He's right, but it's beyond the point and scope. It doesn't matter if they don't care about my feelings. They don't care about any of us, and we still support them. They'd have no problem if you or I died and our kids blown up for war. They'd have no.
How is that any different than yesterday or 10 years ago?
But that's that attitude is the problem.
But
no, the attitude you should have is, how can I take advantage of that?
But no, that's the point. Is that shouldn't be allowed, and the fact is that we the people do not have the power to pass a bill to make sure that stuff doesn't happen.
Of course not.
That's
Our representatives don't listen to us. How many people wanted the SAVE Act passed? 80%, 75%? And the Democrats vote no across the board when 60% of their constituents want it. They don't represent us anymore.
Exactly.
This gets back to the same thing with the that we opened with. The representatives don't listen to us. It doesn't matter what side. They're doing their own thing, and that's what I'm talking about with this. It's bigger than the money. It's way bigger than the money. And I don't think our votes matter. I don't think they count. We've been seeing a lot of it where they're just doing what they want, no matter what their constituents are saying. And there's a whole bunch of people standing up and going to town hall meetings and going and saying, we're not having this, you people. We voted you in, and what are you doing? And they're just shutting them down. This is the bigger thing that's going on. And what I see is it all seems to have a coherence. There's some sort of coherence here across the board. And it feels like we continue to get, sadly, and it's easy to get pulled into it emotionally. But I think that we do need to, at some point, say they're all working together on some level. There's some sort of created psyop or misinformation. I don't know how we want to, in the lexicon of language, I don't know what words we want to use, but that somehow we need to cancel all that out. And I don't know what that means, how that happens, because our votes don't matter. They've made it very clear. They've made it clear that we, at a certain level, whatever we are, don't have a choice, and it you can feel like the person's representing you, but then when you go to a town hall and they're just shutting you up and they're doing what they want, say the data centers, for example, you realize that they don't care. And then the bigger level of that is, people like Bill Gates, so we're talking big money again, can go dumping shit on everyone, and Elon Musk gets carte blanche to do space anything, whatever that
GMO
is.
ticks everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. And so, like, we don't seem to have any say, and yet we continue to think we do. That voting grassroots, all that does is point us out. All it is doing is creating more divide, and it's separating us, and it's the oldest play in the book.
very much so. And I know people said overthrow the government. Yeah, that's not likely. It's true because it's too big and powerful. So the solution to all the crazy, how do you stop some crazy billionaire from dumping like ticks on everybody? I mean, that's it's like counterproductive to what a normal person would do if they wanted to make America great again, or they wanted a healthy community. You wouldn't be like, hey, I'm a billionaire, I love humanity, I'm going to dump ticks all over everybody so they
They're-
won't eat meat.
They're
this-
like Bond villains.
Yes, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
the end goal, of course, is profit, because he owns 3D meat printing facilities or biomeat or whatever the fuck he's making nasty meat, right?
Right.
If it's that kind of thing, right? They're spreading the alpha gal syndrome so they can get a corner on the meat market. They can't control all the cattle in the world, but they can control the companies that print the meat, right?
Mhm.
Or grow it or whatever, however it's made.
I say we dump the ticks on him.
I
Seriously,
don't even
I'm
think
like,
he's human.
Tick and feather him.
Seriously. I don't think he's
yeah,
human.
he might not be.
I
He
don't
might
think
not
any of
be.
these jokers are.
I
I don't
talked to
know
him
what
once,
that
by the way.
means exactly, but he's not like us. We know that, right? These people are not like us, and it's not just about money. It's not the money that separates them from us. There's something fundamentally different, and I don't care to talk about the psychology of it, because psychology is also being used against us. There's something
Mhm.
bigger. It's not that he's a sociopath or that
It's
he's
like
a
good
psychopath.
versus evil.
It's kind of, you're getting closer, I think, when we start looking at basic characteristics. Yeah, they are very much adversarial to whatever is natural, to whatever we are. We seem to be the one being subdued and controlled and moved around, and God knows, probably, I believe we are eaten and tortured and all the other nasties that go on. And at this point, it just seems like they throw out a carrot and they watch
Mhm.
everybody fight about that carrot, instead of, well, we should be looking at where that carrot's coming from and
Yeah,
following that back to
right.
the
And
source.
who's the man behind the curtain, right?
Well, this starts begging that question. But obviously, as a collective, we're too easily divided by really stupid shit. And
Mhm.
it doesn't feel stupid if you're emotionally connected to it. And that's part of why we need to tap into what it is, this dormant DNA we have. How do we find stillness, and how can we disengage our emotional responses from these things so that we can maybe find the Achilles tendon, or some sort of chink in the greater armor of this apparatus that has come in to control us. Clearly, it wants us not feeling very well. It wants us, I mean, it looks to me like there's a big eradication thing going on. And I'm not even going to lay in the color card, but it does seem like
Mhm.
there's a big hatred in the world right now for, well, I guess I will lay it in, for white people. Everything is anti-white.
Christians especially.
Well, and so we're talking the West world. What's the
Yeah.
main focus right now? The invasion of the Western world. Europe, Australia, America. At 6% of the world's population, ethnic whites are the minority. I'm sorry, it's
Hmm.
just the truth. And so
Right.
when you look at the play that's happening, I don't care how you find yourself invested in this play, the optics are pretty real. And when you see things like Islam coming over and taking over whole situations by getting into these seats of power, out, you know, I mean, I just think this stuff's so obvious. But what they're saying, their imams are saying, is not behind doors. They're saying very clear, very scary things in public because they've already been they've already outbred and outdone us so far. Now, I don't believe that these people have. I'll just pick on one group of people. The Somalis have the IQ power together as a culture to
Right.
break down and even orchestrate some of the scams they have been pulling for years. Someone else
So
is
somebody's
behind
behind
them.
it.
Yes,
Hmm.
and that's something we were talking about earlier. And so, and again, I'm always going to say, I don't think that the synagogue of Satan represents the Jewish people. The synagogue of Satan represents those that say they are Jews, but they are not Jews. And so we get caught in this kind of rhetoric that is I think divisive, and it's keeping people fighting against each other over these little things when the bigger play is happening.
Hmm. I forget what I was going to say. I was going to say something earlier, but now it's gone. It left the building, unfortunately. But there is this sort of attack, but and that's the same thing with like even the I was um I was looking at some more stuff on vaccination stuff and the pandemic thing that we just had, and people were saying that you're a hater if you say they genetically engineered those vaccinations and the virus according to race, but it's coming out that indeed they did. That's going to affect certain populations more than others. So it's like they actually have the power to actually engineer things to it and to attack you by your heritage and your genes. It's just getting crazy.
Well, it's really, at this point, genetics are really easy to. I mean, the genetics aspect has been unlocked for a long time, and controlling it. I mean, we have CRISPR technology and more, and so if you want to affect people by their genetics, which they've been doing a long time, open experiments, that seems to be something at play here. And, I think it's worth considering if we're considering everything else. And it does seem to have, for me, some thread of logic in it. And here we are in the world that is crazier than crazy. And so much stuff it's just hard to conceptualize how ridiculous some of this is until you pull up on these other more fantastical ideas that some people call the deep woo, because the normal rational explanations aren't fitting anymore. They don't work. The old equations aren't working. There's some sort of new math on the table.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be a super. Well, did someone just log out? Oh, incognito
Where'd he
went
go?
out. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back. I just heard that bleeping
Isn't he in
bleep.
the other room?
He is.
Okay.
I can't see him. I can't see outside this room. I'm in an office. He's way over there. It's I'd have him in this room, but it's a sound thing. It's a sound thing. Anyways, he'll come back. He seems to be there. Oh, can we add him? There we go. I don't know
Give
how that
a
happened.
shout out to our good friend
Okay.
CW Chanter in the chat. Hey, CW.
Okay. Are you staying in? I don't know. Okay, here we go.
I
That's
don't
this
know.
whole
My
idea
phone is dying.
of good versus evil, this kind of thing. And I think the ultimate thing is we can't even just be like, oh, it's the Jews, it's the Muslims, it's the this, because that concept is in every person. Like, you can get easily possessed. And what is a fact? Like, what is a fact today? Everyone says facts versus feeling, but you have to even be careful of that, because what's a fact today is not a fact 3 weeks from now, or someone's proven it wrong, or you realize it was propaganda and not a fact. So
That's
I
because
think, like,
truth has become subjective in so many areas now.
right. So we have to be really careful, like good versus evil. I think the place we have to obviously start is within ourselves about, okay, what do we support as evil, and not get caught up in idol worship either, because that's what we do so well in this culture. All of us, myself, I'm guilty of it. And I think that's one of our biggest weaknesses. We idol worship. And we are looking for a hero instead of just self-reflecting on something that's inside of us, or the fear. Like, how do people get in power? How does Obama, how does Trump? It's because we feel like we can't do it ourselves, and we need a hero, and we worship these sort of idols. And it's like, and it's, it's an inner thing. It starts within ourselves, really. And I don't know what else to say about the political things, Zephyr, that we have to kind of pull ourselves out of the crazy that we see. You have to pull yourself away from all of it and just self-reflect on, okay, how did I help everything get to this point as well?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, we all agree.
Good.
We're all part of the problem.
Well, if we're a collective and we're all connected, I mean, we can't not be part of the problem.
Namaste.
Right? Namaste.
Namaste.
And this idea that about attacking this old system, I still have some issues about it, because the same people who are waging war over in the Middle East are the same bankers who run things there, who funneled World War II. Like, they're all the same people. So I'm like, how are they getting rid of them? If I'm like, is there some kind of card that I can't see? And I think, I don't know.
So from the information I've heard, whatever, read about, they're not getting rid of them. We're extricating ourselves from their system. Think about it that way. We're not going to play in their game anymore. They can still do whatever they want.
Right.
We're not playing with them.
But what if they're like funding or like Donald Trump?
They're not funding Donald Trump.
They're not. You're sure about that? Because often they fund these banker types, funnel both sides of the equation.
I don't believe that they're funding Donald Trump. And if they were, they're not anymore. And why does he need funding?
But
clearly he does.
The Israelis sure are.
Miriam Adelson giving him hundreds of millions of dollars for his campaign and keeps giving him money to campaign.
She's not an Israeli.
Yes, she is. She was born in Israel.
But she lives in Vegas. She's a fucking
It doesn't matter. She's a dual citizen. She gave him that $200 million on the contention that he get Gaza and the West Bank. That was her stipulations. Okay.
Says who?
Says her.
Okay.
Maybe even do a little bit more research on that one.
I doubt she would actually say that out loud.
Okay.
That's an implication.
That was literally
literal fraud. If she did that,
they do that all the time.
They don't do that all the time.
Nothing stopping Mossad. Nothing stopping Mossad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. I'm right. It's okay.
Okay, you're right. I know better than to argue with a woman.
It's okay if you want to be sexist about it because you can't counter argue. That's
I'm
fine.
kidding.
You can go ahead.
I am kidding. I was kidding. I don't
Okay.
believe you. I don't know anything about it, so I can't comment. I will look into it, but I find it hard to believe that she'd actually say that out loud.
Well, Trump has said it.
Well,
About
Trump
her.
had said it, and then there was
Trump has to get the
insiders
Gaza and the
who were
West
talking
Bank.
about it.
Insiders, anonymous sources.
No, Trump has said that Miriam is
I know she's
getting her-
funding him.
getting her money's worth and stuff like that. So
That's true.
She's
That's
totally
true. She was
pro.
born in Palestine. Israel didn't exist when she was born.
Yeah, well, she was born in Tel Aviv, but she's still pro-Israeli. It didn't exist, but the Zionists were already there. Like it just didn't form into formation in 1945. This has been a long planned thing by the not the Rockefellers, but the the Rothschilds. They were already there at the beginning of the century, like 1919. They've been planning this for a while. They were planning this during World War II. I mean, the Zionists had an agreement with Hitler to bring to they wanted him to bring Jewish people there.
The UN
So
is all Nazis.
Not like, yeah,
so, and the EU itself is like the Fourth Reich. I mean, come on.
So it's not like it was just born in 1947. It was official in 1947.
1947, the year of maximum fuckery. Everything that's wrong with
everything is wrong.
Our culture and society today started in 1947.
Yeah, right.
1947 is truly a big deal.
It is.
Yeah. Well, that's the year that the CIA was started and
Roswell.
Yeah.
I used to have
so much.
We were in our Discord channel, my personal Discord channel. I had over like 150 or so events that happened that shaped 1946, shaped the world from 1947. And I got banned from Discord. I lost all that data. So I haven't collected all, but there are some. Hillary Clinton was born in 1947, for instance.
Oh my God.
Things like that. There are so many things that happened in 1947, it would blow your mind.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I mean, that could be part of the whole AI thing too. I mean, you know, if the non-human intelligence is AI based or whatever, that could be when the non-human intelligences started their bullshit.
Well, if those things are real, they've been here longer than us.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
and I don't think we're the first civilization either.
No, but that was when they made their inroads into our civilization.
This iteration, yeah, totally.
Yeah, and everything changed.
Right. Roswell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there was Betty and Barney Hill before that. Maybe that was a trial balloon.
No, that was after that.
Was it? I thought that happened before.
Yeah, that was after that.
You're right. That was in the 50s.
And I don't know what that really was. Some people think it's real. Some people think it's don't. But at the end, I don't know. I don't know if Trump's taken out London, if that's his goal, or
City of London.
Yeah,
not, like I said, he's not taking them out.
When I say London, that's what I'm talking about.
He's not taking them out. That's not the goal. The goal is not to take them out.
It's to disconnect from them.
Disconnect from them. Yes.
Disconnect from them.
Yes. He's not going to be. He's going to throw it on the ground. If you want to go with the Lonely Island reference, he's not part of that system. You guys don't get that.
Yeah, but isn't the whole idea to globally dominate and take over everything?
Maybe.
So you'd have to absorb the system. You'd have to absorb
eventually, or it becomes a vestigial limb.
Do I have an arm there? I can't feel it.
A tail.
It's a phantom limb. I don't know where I don't know if that's his goal. And then why would King Charles be part of that? Like, do you think is he like trying to take over? Is he's got like some big
Well,
goals to get rid of
I-
the bankers?
There are many possibilities there. I don't know.
well, you gotta realize that. I mean, even the king cannot go into the city of London without permission.
Correct.
So it's
Well,
possible
yeah.
that he is playing ball with Trump in order to kill that cabal.
And take over so that he has more.
Don't forget, the monarchy is separate from the British government.
Of course, it has been since King Charles II,
Right,
or
right.
after they killed King Charles I.
And Canada plays into this too, because they want to join the EU. They want to be part of whatever the hell is going on over there, right? They just they just announced a new, what is it, a governor general?
Mm.
What is it called? You're the Canadian. Tell me.
Yeah, it's a governor general.
Governor
and that
general.
governor general is supposed to talk to the queen or king or who.
Correct. The liaison between the king, the crown, between the crown and the
The
parliament,
government. Yeah.
and has the ability to dissolve parliament.
And so what is it about, like, because how does that say that they want to be with the EU? Is this new governor general not wanting to talk to the king? They want to talk to the EU?
I don't know. This is what Carney has said. They want to join the EU.
I'm glad I left Canada.
Did you see how was it Ottawa or where's the government at? Ottawa?
Yeah. Federal government in Ottawa.
Ottawa blocked Alberta from voting for being independent, for Albertan independence.
Well, and they're saying that premier in Alberta kind of helped with that she staved it off, which is there's people in Alberta who don't like it, but they're stupid, and there's people in Alberta who lots of people, because Alberta is probably the most conservative province in Canada.
I remember now, I heard something today, I don't remember who said it or what, but was speculating that the king may have visited Trump. One of the things they may have discussed when he visited Trump was to give sovereignty back to Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. Like, kind of break the UK up, because he can do that apparently.
Interesting. What would be the play on that? How would that serve to
fuck the UK over?
Would it fuck the city of London over? I don't know how it would it?
Less tax revenue. Less jurisdiction is always fucking you over.
I'm really trying to understand how this will play.
I don't know that it plays in. I don't know that it plays into that idea. I'm just saying that is one thing I heard today. I don't know if it's true, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's interesting because they threw some jokes. Trump and them threw some jokes, like America versus Britain jokes there.
Right,
it was quite
right.
funny. Like, it was funny. I admit, it was humorous.
Starmer is making noise about rejoining the EU.
Oh.
So it could play into that. The people don't want to rejoin the EU. So if you granted sovereignty to the other three countries.
And maybe Charles' visit has to do with talking to Trump because he's against Starmer. I don't know.
Yeah, Trump and Starmer.
Some secret. Yeah. Because the interesting thing is the monarchy, I think, is really fragile right now. After the Queen died, it seems like there's a fragility. Like, a lot of people don't necessarily support it the way they did with Queen Elizabeth.
Things are different these days. Nobody cares.
Yeah, they don't. So
Charles isn't going to be around for like 5 years tops, right? He's got problems. Yeah. And now we got Prince with George. Is George next?
William's
next. He's going to be king for a long time. 50 years. 40 years.
So maybe he's setting the stage for that. It is interesting. I'm interested in it because, I mean, I have a total different narrative about the English monarchy and how it was infiltrated by outsiders that, you know, there was a lot of revolutions that happened to kill the king. It's all about these sort of people and bankers that come into the system and want to take over the country, kill the king, get rid of God. So the banking system and the government becomes kind of like the God in the money system. So it's interesting to hear this dynamic of trying to get rid of the city of London. That's why I was kind of fascinated with it.
Yeah,
I'm totally talking. I'm not even let niche talking talk or anything like that. But I'm just fascinated with it because I've been researching on this stuff of the killing of the king and the replacing of it with a banking system that always corrodes and destroys the economics with usury and all this shit and makes us, you know, debt slaves.
Yeah, I don't know. Nish, you have any ideas? You're awfully quiet.
I'm just listening, but the killing of the king and those old tropes are very important, and they are at play. And there's something I've been tracking that is, I don't know if I can, I don't know really if I should get into all this, but there's I'm going to put it this way, an X factor, and this is going to be part of what happens. And so when we're looking at this idea of monarchy, which is what are the royals? What is all this? We're talking about genetics. We're talking about your DNA,
Yeah,
bloodlines.
bloodlines.
And so and part of how bloodlines work is you don't always have a continuity in bloodlines. There are many that are so this is why you have noble houses, but there are also those of the bloodline that are buried in the general public. And I do think this was one of the plays they made with Harry and his children, so that they could get that, continue that bloodline should something dark happen, that somehow that Windsor blood moves forward and doesn't meet its end. But they've been doing that anyway, like they always do that through what used to be known as bastard births. And we see this way back in the in biblical stuff too, with the, you know, Noah and the baby being taken away. We see this in foster narratives, etc. So what is so important about the bloodlines? What's so important about the DNA? And if you, and I just want to point this out, if you consider, and I'm just using one idea here, Charlemagne, 1 in 6 people in Old England, because now New England is mostly Mohammed's, the Islam has taken over, whether you want to pull up to that or not. Old England, 1 in 6 Brits is descendant from Charlemagne. So consider that these things move down in a way that is significant when we look at the time factor. But if we collapse all this narrative back on itself, which there's a lot of information, especially amongst Jewish scholars, love them or hate them, looking at how bloodlines work and how they collapse back, and where are the mysterious points of reference. And this starts to bring in the idea of dormant DNA again, that becomes very important. So Melissa, you may have some very important dormant DNA that comes from very specific bloodlines in you. And that may not be expressing itself in you right now, but say you're housing it as a vessel for it. And so something or some organization, something at play may know that you are a vessel for certain genetic that you're like
Capabilities.
capabilities, but you're housing, you're protecting something sacred that you may not be aware of. And so there's this factor at hand here, and that I'm just coming back to the importance of bloodlines lines. Now, does that make everyone else insignificant? Are we doing the Jew thing of chosen? No, but in a
No.
way, yes. And when you're looking at this from a different perspective, and I'm not trying to rabble rouse anyone. I don't care what you identify as or what you're connected to emotionally
Mhm.
or your genetics. I'm just saying this is a bigger deal than we know. It's always been a bigger deal. And this is where, if a reset's happening, you can bet they have hedged the bets of bloodlines. Those of the blood are going to continue. The house always wins. So if we're still playing the same game in a reset, which is what looks like it's happening, then they have hedged themselves to move forward.
And so they're
And they
just
may
gonna
not
try
be
they're just gonna
a monarchy. They may have
right.
rulership in a different way, but that would
Well,
by all circumstances still be a monarchy, but maybe not
right.
in the way we see
So
it today.
it's really interesting because I don't have the clip anymore. I took it in my system, but I showed a clip before where this fellow who used to work in media with David Icke years ago, he was talking about how he talked to this elite British woman. She was on one of the productions and he visited her at her house and she was telling him how it literally went like a beehive. Like there was these queen bees that ran everything and that every once in a while they cleared out the hive of population, immigration, and that might even include some of the elite people where they clean out the hive and do a reset. And she literally told him that, and she was not Christian. They said a lot of them are not Christian, even though they say they are. And but she talked in this will where they clear out all the yucky stuff that they consider not good.
Well, and so if you think about what was
Oh,
going
buddy.
on with the genetic stuff that was COVID, and what is
Mhm.
going on with the darker narrative behind blood sequencing, whether you're getting your blood taken at the hospital, whether you decided to do 23andMe, you've all been bagged and tagged, your genetics, especially through the COVID era. You know, I've made my I've did so many shows on that back in the day. I'm so tired of talking about that. But um, so everyone is visible. Your genetics are visible. There are ways now. There's a higher technology. There is like there's a sorting going on, and like the seed bank in Norway, like Noah's Ark, the sorting is already underway. It's already happened. They know where they want to keep them. The best way to house the genetics, it turns out, from what my understanding is as we are now in these human vessels. So what do? You you
House
preserve
them in
them.
a transhuman body
You preserve them in
Mhm.
in their wholeness.
In
And
the cloud.
so this goes back to some of the old school practices that we see with like Egyptian mummies. It goes way older than that, but
Mhm.
this was at the core of some of the cryonics deep woo, more than just trying to stay alive. So people have so what's gone on is there's been a separation. People have already been identified and picked, and when they start this other operation after this soft kill, and then there's going to be a hard kill situation, which is why we're getting war, EMP this, and all this stuff to thin the herd. All these people have been out there. We got to get to net zero, etc. Then they're going to start separating everyone. So they've contaminated some of the blood lines. They've contaminated some of the pools, and there's different factions at work here. There are people that there seems to be factions for and against this. I don't know all of this stuff. I'm coming in with some of this stuff looking at some of the papers that everyone has access to, looking at these documents and patents also coming in is what I do as an intuitive, that they're doing this and it's real, and we're sorted like in Harry Potter. And those of us that are going to be put in the seed bank situation, I don't think that's a very good situation to be in personally. So think about the butterfly that's attached to the human brain that everyone's seen, and it thinks it's having, or that, the brain that thinks it's having this butterfly experience, and all the neuroscience stuff that's going on out there, or the new judiciary punishments that are being proposed about how does one control corporal punishment now in a way that involves neuroscience and all this technology, where you can put somebody into a state of absolute terror for 30 minutes, and to them it feels like hundreds of years. There's so many different ways in which this could play out, but at the end of the day, it is a genetic separation operation. They don't need everyone. It is reseeding. It's going to reseed as an RESEED, the garden, when everything's reset. That's just a thought to chew on.
Reset to, like, are you talking Garden of Eden?
Reset this whole thing. Reset it. Totally re-terraform it. Give it a new... this is what we're talking about with the new crypto world. A different kind of Garden of Eden. Yes.
A techno Garden of Eden.
Kind of like a mimicked version.
Digital utopia.
Yeah. And so just like what everyone talks about with the Cabbage Patch Babies and the orphan trains and all that, with this, the last century and at the beginning of the 19th.
This sounds like it's quite beyond a 2030 plan, and that there's just
2030 is, well, I think that's what Jerry was saying earlier. They did have his 2021, and then they push it up to 2030. But what they're doing is planning this idea that there's these changes and they're going to happen by this time, and they're putting this as like a worm, an earworm in your head, so that you feed it. For it. Yeah. You start planning it. It's a mind bomb. And
I see.
And there's 30, I forget there's a letter in front of it, like S or G or P, I forget the number, but I'll try and find the documents on it, but it's like, something 30, something 40, something 50. And there are goals for each decade to have these sustainability and control systems in place by each time. Like 2040, they want smart cities everywhere. Like that's one of their goals.
Yeah.
And 2050,
they need you to participate.
Right. And 2050, they want everyone to be vegan. And in 2060, they want no more, electric cars.
That would explain the ticks.
It would explain the ticks.
Well, the ticks are multi-purpose. There's a big deal going on with that.
That's all part of the net zero scam.
Yes. But see, they need you to participate. Like Jerry's saying, they need you to participate in this
because
to make
we
it
create
work.
Our reality.
Yes.
Right.
Do not comply.
Do not comply. Do
Absolutely.
not engage.
Pull your emotions out of it. It's the first thing you can do.
Yep.
And see, your emotions, though, give you away that you are actually still a natural being. And I value that personally. But we need to master that so that they don't use it against us.
Be wise as serpents and what's the be wise as serpents and as gentle as doves at the same time, or something like that.
Something like that.
So
that's the thing. So what to me is being, whatever the play is, however it's going down, it is definitely calling us to better ourselves in a kind of martial arts way. Find the calmness And when you are feeling triggered, when things are getting an emotional response, try to figure out what that is about and how can you breathe your way out of that and then come back to it in a non-emotional way and find a way or a channel for the emotion, because they want you to do that. It's just absolutely part of the bigger program here. But don't, and so the thing is, I can tell who's who by their emotional response, and that you're human. But the thing is, what's mimicking humans is learning this at all levels right now. At the digital things out there, whatever we want to call them, the digital intelligences that they're putting in robotics and in bio, the new crazy robotics that have skin and all that. Blade Runner reality, Philip K. Dick. Um, it's going to be very difficult to do it. What is the test in Blade Runner? The Curing test, or Jerry, do you remember the name of
Right.
that?
That
Voight Compt.
The
Yes.
Voight
Yeah.
Compt. And so this is kind of where we are. But what does it beg us to do? It begs us to work on ourselves. Get control of yourself, because this thing is playing us. It's playing us in a big way, but we don't have to let it do that. And there's ways around this. I truly believe this.
So this thing, is it a force? Is it like Antichrist? Like what is this thing? Is it like a thought form that just invades all of us? Is it something, it's something outside of this realm? I'm asking about your opinion, that is even infiltrated the minds of world leaders and all these people think they're doing good or something. Like
Yeah, it's a mind
you're
virus.
saying this thing.
It's a consensual agreement. I don't know what you want to call it.
What's the
But
antidote?
it is that, and it's also more than that, because we're talking about non-human intelligence, non-human entities. And so in a way, you could look at it like Invasion of the Body Snatchers in a way, right? You don't have to pull all the way up to that, but just the idea that something can invade you like candida and make you crave the sugar it wants, or any parasite in your body. I consistently try to come back to the natural world, and I know
Toxoplasmosis is probably a better analogy.
that's a
That's what
great
you get from kitty
analogy.
cats.
Yeah.
Right, but it's more
Crazy cat lady.
it's more controls your nervous system, your emotions. It makes you do things you wouldn't normally
Right.
do.
It puts you
Exactly.
into the danger zone to be played with or consumed, and you don't even realize it. Cordyceps in nature, you know.
I was just gonna say
mass
that.
formation psychosis.
Yeah, that's another thing too, man. Same idea. It's all the same thing, really. It's just it's almost you could even say it's part of the 100th monkey effect, or enough
So
people
I
believe it
pretty
that
much
everyone.
have to get off the internet.
No, if you learn how to control it, it's the whole Neo thing, right? You can
Right.
control this. You just have to. We all can. This is not hopeless. I don't feel like we're in a hopeless state, but I do feel that we need to stay very frosty on all this and be concerned about these big plays and how they're happening. I get all the points we're talking about, but I do think the bigger thing is where my focus is. And ultimately, my biggest focus is how can I control myself so that I can walk around in this fucking hellscape that we have all of a sudden found ourselves in. Because this does look to me like a hellscape, personally.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Incognito?
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. It just seems like, yeah, it's removing us from a natural order, really.
Yeah,
Right, well,
absolutely. It's cleaving us from the nature, from our own divinity. It's
our own
absolutely
natural tendencies, even.
all of it. It's taking us away from what we really are. It's mimicking us. It's making us into synthetics. It's controlling us in all these different ways. And some people want to go and that's fine. Let them go. I don't personally. I would like to stay whatever I am, which I think is
Yeah.
I've got good morals. I was, all this stuff. I have a sense of you don't kill unless, it's fang and claw, unless somebody's trying to kill you, then you defend yourself.
Right.
But, you try to think like, give respect to those that give you respect, give love where it's given, but don't be fooled by it also because of Evie, the love bite situation, love bombing.
Oh yeah, Evie Lorgan.
It's all about the experience, which is what we were talking about earlier. We learn through experience, and this is what makes it scary
Very
for the
human.
youngins, for the young ones that are coming into this, because look at what they're learning in Common Core schools. Look at how they're learning to hate everyone and all this. There's like, I don't feel optimistic about what's going on if we do the numbers and move forward with the way things are as far as
Well,
how that's
the
going to work.
biggest I mean, I see in some good things in the schools in Canada. It depends where you go, but the biggest problem is most people are locked up into a world. Young people are locked up into a world that's not real. They don't know a world really where there's anything else.
It's a bigger problem than that because kids coming out of school today in grade school and stuff cannot read.
Or write.
Or write
Oh,
or do math. And when they're confronted with, read this book, why should I have to read this book? They'll say,
When
I
the
can
computer.
when ChatGPT
Yeah.
will read it to me.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
there are some I hear what Melissa's saying, and
I do too.
because there
what
are
I mean,
pockets of people that are homeschooling and teaching their kids,
there is.
but there's
But
not
like
enough of them. That's the problem.
like for one thing in the system, like my son could read, he's really good at math and stuff like that, but he's not good at writing, and he never really was, so we kind of pushed that. I hounded his teacher, but I liked some of the schools that were teaching kids how to garden and grow their own food. They were actually doing stuff in our town, teaching them how to grow a garden. Nobody like half people in the cities don't even know how to do that, but they were teaching them how to grow a garden. I'm like, well, that's really good.
If they spend half the time teaching kids how to garden and do physical things around the house instead of teaching them what pronouns the teacher has, I think the world would be a better place.
Amens.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I was like, wow, now that's something that they never taught me in school, and I wish they had. I had to learn it on my own and figure it out. But gardening, like if we go through a famine, what would you want? You want to have your own garden. You'd want to have your own ability to grow food.
Well,
You
look
know-
at how they're
Basic.
policing gardens now. They've got drones dropping in and looking what you're growing.
And water collection.
Wow.
All this stuff. So it's getting very divisive out there and restrictive towards us. And this is why I keep wondering, like, how far are we going to let this go? And I'm not saying anything beyond that, but at some point, we have to really realize that it's kind of all at our doors now. And how restricted are we, how much deeper into hell do you want to go? That's what I'm saying, because it seems like we're on like speed, like we're amping the speed up to get us deeper into this hellscape that is unfolding around us, where we can't even grow food and all that, where you can't have certain books, the whole system that they're trying to make, but they are legit trying to see who's growing what and controlling your water and resources. And this is not conspiracy. This is real.
That's real.
That's real.
And so we have to look at that for what it is.
And it ties into the whole AI data center thing too.
We'll
Just
see
to
in
bring
the
it full circle.
on the darker, the deeper levels. I started saying that's where I was. I'm like, this is way deeper than we know, and that's where I'm consistently going to be down in that space.
That's why I'm so leery of it, because it feels like an ultimate control hellscape. And at that, because I was said Jer saying how long this is going to be, I was going to tie it up because I wanted it to be 2 hours, guys, but we went a little bit over.
I was just asking. I wasn't.
No.
Yeah, I'm
no,
gonna
not
have to go
confirmed.
here soon. So
But yeah, it's like these data centers could be and are likely this kind of push to this hellscape where everything's controlled
Yep.
to that level.
Yep.
yeah, it's some dark terrain ahead of us, and it's really important to try and stay frosty.
We need to go to
stay on
5D
top.
Earth as soon as possible.
Do you have a ticket, Jer?
No,
I
I'm
can
locked
go
out.
this
I'm locked out.
way, the natural world.
Can I
All right,
book a
guys.
flight?
Well, I thank you guys for coming on. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I got to get going. I want to go get a taco salad. I'm going to make a taco salad.
That sounds good.
I need
Nish
something.
Oswald
something
says
to eat.
hello.
Oh, hi, Oswald.
Aw.
I'm not in any chat, so it's
Well,
nice.
guys, hopefully I won't be so long next time in inviting you on. It won't be 6 months.
Hopefully, we'll get our own show going pretty soon.
Yeah, I tried. I tuned in to watch, but
I know,
like you
with
said,
our
your guest
guests
had
couldn't
to
make it.
cancel.
She's
So-
Jerry and I were ready to rock.
We were. I got everything
That would have
set
been a
up.
good one. That would have been a good show, guys.
Still not
was-
too
it-
late. We gotta
Yeah,
get
it's
in
still
touch
not
with
too late, but
Yeah.
we were ready to rock.
All right. Well, guys, I want to thank everybody here for watching, and thank you so much to Jer Niish's audience for joining in on some really fascinating commentary. It's been a great one. And Sunday, we're still doing a show on my channel, so go over there and subscribe. I will be there at 5 p.m. Eastern. I may talk about Cappy. I've got some Cappy stuff to talk about, Isaac Cappy and other
He's-
stuff. I don't
he's
know. I
still
haven't put
dead.
it together yet.
Is he still
What's
dead?
there?
He's still dead. Nice card, Jer.
Thank you.
So anyways, guys, subscribe, thumbs up on each of the videos, whether at Niish and Jer's channel or this one. It helps the algorithm. You can go to the clusterfuck.com. That is where all the links are. And I will be here Sunday, guys. Cheery, cheery, cheerios.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for-
everyone. Thank you,
thanks.
Melissa and
Thank you.
everyone. Yep.
Thanks, Mike. Good seeing you.